If you can't tell by the roar of the crowds, it's race day, and I think it's gearing up to be a really special one. It's an unusual anti-clockwise race here at Interlagos, where the Sao Paulo locals are packed into the grandstands at each of the 15 corners around this classic 2.7-mile circuit. Two very fast sections bookend the famous and highly technical Sector 2, where getting a good run out of Junsao into one of the two DRS zones will be the key to any overtaking prospects today. Now, Anthony Davidson, I wonder, might we be in for some early pit stops today from the midfield teams, all trying to put some pressure on or disrupting things for the leaders up front?
If you're in the middle of the pack, you know, you got your own race to run. I don't think they're going to be thinking about causing trouble up front. However, closer to the head of the pack, don't be surprised to see some split strategies. If you're running second and third, for example, bringing one car in for an undercut while leaving the other one out there longer can put a lot of pressure on the leader and maybe force them into an error.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Daniel Ricciardo has a clear view ahead from pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Bottas, Charles Leclerc and Vettel, Sainz, Gasly, Norris and Lance Stroll, Albon, Kvyat, Sergio Perez and Ocon, Magnussen, Raikkonen, George Russell and Nicholas Latifi, Grosjean and Antonio Giovinazzi starts from the back of the grid. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
What's going on, dudes? Easy Dude, JP Dude, and welcome back to the F1 2020 Championship here in Brazil for the Brazilian Grand Prix. Picking up where we left off, it was an awful race in the United States Grand Prix. I did not finish the race, unfortunately. I drove straight into the barriers, trying to enter the pit lane to switch for tires. I completely messed up my entry, and I ruined my race there, and Verstappen ended up winning the race. So now, coming into this Brazilian race, he is 13 points ahead of me. I've dropped down to third, behind Hamilton, 5 points behind. Coming into this, 13 lead gap between me and Verstappen, and only 8 between him and Hamilton. It's going to be a tight race for the last two remaining races. I hope I can get the win here in the Brazilian Grand Prix and the next race, which is Abu Dhabi, for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. For this Brazilian Grand Prix, I start on the pole, about almost 6/10 ahead of Verstappen. He starts on the front row with me. I definitely have a good, strong race here in Brazilian Grand Prix. The only worrying part for me is that I hope I don't mess up my entry to the pit lane. It's a bit of a maneuver, but hopefully I don't go into the pits too fast or hitting the barriers. That's my only concern, but everything else, I think I should be fine. Looking at race strategy, it's a long duration for the soft tires. No better way to change it. Gonna lower my fuel laps a bit because I need extra pace and quick time, but hopefully it'll be good results. I'm thinking about 28.5 kilograms of fuel load, because I'm thinking I'm gonna have to use a lot of rich mode for this track, so hopefully I'll get good results out of it. But yeah, hopefully it's gonna be a good race. It's all sunny out throughout the race with a bit of extra clouds covering it. I hope I can get this win. If I could get the win here and the next race, I will clinch the driver's title, unless if some of the drivers take off my fastest lap, which is the only thing that could potentially take me out. So let's say if I win this race and the next race, and Verstappen comes in second, but I get the fastest lap, I would potentially win by 1 point. But who knows what will happen for this race and next race. So let's jump right in, and hopefully we get good results coming into the to the last race. Alright, but anyways, wrapping up the engine. 5 lights are up. It's lights out, and away we go for the Brazilian Grand Prix. I get a good jump, as always. Coming into the corner. It's a slow corner. I'm going to try and take it easy. I'm going to try and use overtake and rich mode. Try to pull away from Verstappen. He's going to try and use the slipstream off me.
That's a decent start. Good job.
Thank you, Jeff. Now I'm going to take it easy here. See, a good start, as always. I always get good starts as the lights go out. It's just holding the lead is the tricky part. I need to be consistent on this. And see, when I did my qualifying time, my first lap was all good enough to stay ahead. But after the final few minutes, I decided to go a bit faster, and I managed to get pole almost 6/10 ahead of Verstappen. So I have a good feeling I'm going to definitely win this race. Hopefully Verstappen gets horrible result, probably like a mechanical failure, or gets held up in the pit lane. But we'll see. So I really got to be careful. This corner I might struggle with the most because I know there's a bit of a pattern to it, but I can't quite get it right because the steering might get a bit off at sometimes. But we'll see. There we go. I'm already pulling off 2 seconds ahead of Verstappen.
DRS is now enabled.
DRS is now enabled, but Verstappen won't be close enough to pass me. I know that. Look at that. I'm pulling off a big gap now. That just shows how good I am at the Brazilian Grand Prix compared to the AI. I'm gonna try to slow it down, make it easy through the corners. Alrighty. Completing the 3rd lap, I'm in the lead. Verstappen is 2nd, Hamilton 3rd, Bottas 4th, and Charles Leclerc.
Keep this up.
Thanks, Charles Leclerc in 5th. That's your top 5 right now. By the way, I forgot to mention, this track for the Brazilian Grand Prix is the 2nd shortest in the calendar this season. So definitely going to be completing some quick lap times. So there's 18 of them so far. Gonna try and complete them as fast as I can. And so far this season, F1 2020, it's been some ups and downs for me this season, driving as Ricardo.
We're a +1 lap of extra fuel. Fuel target +1.
Thanks for letting me know, Jeff. And I'll tell you what, it's good results showing so far. I'm glad Ricardo got a good results for McLaren this season in the British Grand Prix. after a massacre lap 1 incident between Hamilton and Verstappen, after both of them not yielding, coming into, I think it was turn 8 or 9. It was at the old finish line that they had, and coming into the corner, it looked like Verstappen was ahead of Bottas, but neither of them yield, and Hamilton clipped Verstappen's right rear wheel and ended up spinning around into the wall. Big impact, and Verstappen had to go to the hospital for a checkup, and ended up having some controversial between Mercedes and Red Bull. And at that moment, even though Hamilton got a 10-second time penalty for causing the collision, he still managed to end up winning the whole thing at his home track at the British Grand Prix. So he is very lucky at the British Grand Prix. But even after that, I reckon there's some people out there who's still going to see some controversial comments about it.
We're leading our teammate by 13.7
So who knows what will happen. So right now in my F1 2020 championship right now is 13 points behind Verstappen, who's leading this, and right now he's 3.3 seconds behind me right now, so I'm basically pulling away by a good margin. Hamilton is staying with him. I hope Hamilton passes Verstappen so that I can gain on him in the championship. I mean, who knows? And so far this season, 2021, Verstappen and Hamilton are battling big time for the championship. They both had lots of wins so far. They're quite dead even, not gonna lie. It's gonna be interesting on who wins this championship. It could be Hamilton looking for his 8th championship to break the record of most championship titles. Or it could be Verstappen's first ever championship title. Who knows? It's gonna go crazy at the end. Tell you that. And I'll tell you what, both Verstappen and Hamilton in my game right now, they're both dead even too, because they're both close in the championship. But apparently looking at the championship, it's only me, Hamilton, and Verstappen battling for the championship. With this race and next race left. And so far I'm looking like I'm gonna take the win here if I could keep this up. About 4 seconds ahead of Verstappen now, and Hamilton is right behind him. It's gonna be tight, I'll tell you that. Alright, completing 7 laps out of 18. About 11 laps to go. Just gotta stay ahead and try to pull a big gap. When I come to the pits, I'm definitely gonna try and take it easy, because I don't want to screw things up. There we go. I don't think that was a good corner entry. Let's just check it behind. Probably don't need to at this rate. Okay.
Pit window open. Let's box this lap.
You got it, Jeff. Pit window's open, so I gotta pit this lap. Hopefully I can get this right. Okay. Just gotta keep building. I'll tell you what.
Tire wear for now. Keep taking care of them.
Yes, of course, Jeff. I'll tell you what. If I have a terrible pit stop, I could still try and say I could still be able to gain and possibly pass them too. Alright, but now it's time to come to the pits. No, I gotta be extra careful here. There we go. That's good enough. Verstappen and Hamilton also comes into the pits. Bottas stays out. Leclerc comes into the pits.
Go. Exit now.
A decent
We're racing
pit
on the
stop.
exit. Go
Sainz
now.
stays out as well.
That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops.
There we go. Done our pit stops and now we're good. And where we come out? Just behind Albon for 5th. So that's not too shabby. I'm alright staying behind Albon because looking at my lead over Verstappen, it's good. Looks like Hamilton got held up, so Verstappen will probably take 2nd away from Hamilton. I'm gonna try to go on the inside of Albon. I'm sorry, I need to get by,
Nice work.
even though I don't really
Good
need
race.
to, but I want to anyways. I'm gonna try outbrake Vettel. Let's try and get a run. And there goes Sainz into the pits. Bottas stays out again. Don't know why, but he's staying out. And almost everybody else is gonna
Mr.
pit.
Pan's in for his stop.
Yep, my teammate comes in to pit. And it looks like Perez stays out as well. I'm guessing Bottas and Perez must have had better tire management than us three ahead. Alright. Getting through. You know, I probably don't need to push anyways at this rate. I'll tell you what, if the last race, if I do good with qualifying and the race, I could potentially win the driver's title. It's definitely going to be close. And it's going to be hard. But there's a chance. There's a chance, guys. And I set a new fastest lap.
Good job. That was the fastest lap of the race so far.
Yep. I don't think Verstappen or Hamilton or Bottas could beat that at this rate. And also my ERS battery is not quite good enough to hold on to the whole lap. So I'm gonna have to save it a bit. But this is definitely looking good for me, this race. And so Bottas is pitted. Perez still stays out, surprisingly. I don't know why he hasn't pitted yet. He's probably going to pit this lap. If not, I don't know what's wrong with him. Alright, Only 6 laps to go, and Perez finally pits this lap. And I don't know how far he's gonna drop. Probably a lot. And it looks like Leclerc has jumped Bottas in the pits, so Leclerc's ahead of Bottas for 4th. And where's my teammate at? I think my teammate's just gonna be ahead of Perez, maybe. Not quite. Perez just stays ahead. So basically, if I could look at the map at the right time, I'm guessing he's 11th, just outside the points. So he's gonna have to try and catch up and
good. You're managing it well.
And made some maneuvers. We'll see. So looking at the race right now with 5 laps to go, coming up to the finish line, I have an 8.5 second gap ahead of Verstappen. You know, at this rate, I probably don't need to use lean mode at all for the remainder of these races. I could potentially go all the way. Don't mind going off wide a bit. No harm done. And even if I'm slower in some of the corners, that doesn't matter. Yeah, I was quite surprised how fast I am compared to the other drivers on this track. I guess this shows Brazil is my kind of track, or at least one of my. Or at least one of my track favorites, or best tracks. I don't know. It's stuff like that. It's that you're good and then you're bad. That's racing, and I've learned from the best. And like I said before, and I mentioned this more and more, and I'll do it again. This is the first time that I'm racing in a championship without a dynamic racing line. I normally drive with a dynamic racing line to know my braking points. But I said it before, and I would like to try and make it a challenge myself and try to win this without a dynamic racing line. And with AI at 80%, just to let you guys know, the AI is at 80%. So it's definitely looking strong and challenging. And that's the way I would like to see. And definitely what I'd like to see, and most of you guys as well, to see an awesome battle for the championship. See who is going to win. And coming in to the final race after this, could it be me? Could it be Verstappen? Or could it even be Hamilton? It's just all happening. Who knows? We'll find out who will win at the final race. And so, I'll tell you what, looking at the championship right now, battle between me, Verstappen, and Hamilton, it's almost like a replica to what's happening right now, the championship this season with Hamilton and Verstappen. If I was racing F1 with the guys in F1, I could potentially be in this situation right now where I'm trying to battle the best of the best in F1 to win. I mean, think about it. This is almost like a replica. Alrighty, 2 laps to go here in Brazil. By the way, to all those Brazilians out there, I hope you guys are surviving as much as you can.
Is 29.5 seconds.
I hope you guys are handling that COVID stuff at your place. Hopefully it's not gonna affect you guys too much. Hopefully you guys will lose.
We have 2
No,
laps of fuel
we'll
remaining.
have no more losing lives. But hopefully you guys will fight it as much as we are as well. And I'm probably gonna say a one line for people that are dealing with COVID right now. When I think my one line for that is must fight the COVID to save lives. And maybe another line like always protect yourselves.
This is your final lap of the race.
Anyways, final lap here in the Brazilian Grand Prix. Looking at this, I'm definitely gonna win here. Here in the Brazilian Grand Prix, it's a good drive for me. Great drive indeed. 10.5 seconds ahead of Verstappen, with Hamilton about a second and a half behind. Leclerc in 4th and Bottas in 5th. That's your top 5. It's a good result coming into
We're
the.
expecting rain in around 10 to 15 minutes.
Wow, I never expected that before. Rain expecting to happen in 10 minutes. There was nothing specific about rain, but it doesn't matter anyways. This is the final lap. Coming to a couple corners, we'll be done by then. And it looks like I'm already catching up to a lap driver. It's one of the Williams. I'm guessing that's Latifi. But anyways, finishing the final corner on the final straightaway. Coming up to the checkered flag, I win here in Brazil for the Brazilian Grand Prix, and that will definitely help
You've
me.
done everything we wanted today.
Yeah, thanks. And that will definitely help me close the gap with Verstappen and Hamilton to fight for the championship with only one more race to go.
Back today, a well-deserved victory.
Yes, with one more race to go, it's going to be very tight between me, Hamilton, and Verstappen. And us three are on the podium as well for this race. It's going to be very tight. Who will win it? We don't know. We'll find out for the next race. Good judge Alex Albon for 9th. I don't know what happened to him, honestly.
Here come today's winning drivers, and what a race it was.
Yes.
This is a team
What a
that
great
knows
drive,
very well
indeed.
F1, and they're just itching for even more. Congratulations to the Renault team for their excellent win today.
Yeah, so I step on the top 7 of the podium here in Brazil, while Verstappen takes 2nd and Hamilton 3rd. Like I said, I'll say it again and again, it's going to be very tight coming into the final race. So that's your Brazilian Grand Prix,
So
guys.
it's time to see how this result affects the Drivers'
Yep.
Championship. It wasn't the
And
best
look at that.
weekend for our championship leader, and their advantage at the top has been reduced.
Yeah.
After an incredible day of racing, who was your driver of the day, Ant?
Well, you can't fault anything that Sergio Perez did out on the track today. He
Yeah, I
drove
think
flawlessly,
Perez
making him an
probably
easy
had
pick.
most.
It's another clear win for Mercedes as they managed to secure the constructors' title. An
Well, there you have it, guys.
incredible
Mercedes,
performance for the whole team.
Mercedes take the constructors title. I wasn't expecting to try and fight for the constructors. But hopefully, I'll try to win the driver standings. But after the Brazilian Grand Prix, I take the win and I get the fastest lap, so I get an extra 26 points. It's 8 points over Max Verstappen, who takes 2nd. Lewis Hamilton takes 3rd. Charles Leclerc takes 4th. Valtteri Bottas 5th. Carlos Sainz 6th. Pierre Gasly 7th. Lando Norris 8th. Alexander Albon 9th. And Sergio Perez rounds off the top 10. And unfortunately, my teammate just missed out by 1 position. And looking at the standings, I now move up to 2nd after beating Hamilton for the win here in the Brazilian Grand Prix by a big margin. I am now 5 points behind Verstappen. It is going to be very tight between all 3 of us. But right now, it looks like it could be a tight battle between me and Verstappen. Who knows? what I need to do is get ahead of Verstappen in the final race in Abu Dhabi, and hopefully I'll take the win, maybe, possibly, if I could get a good result out of it. And of course, Mercedes rounds up the constructors standings. And looking at this, Renault are in third right now because of my good results. We could potentially be on top. Nah, I'm just kidding. But hey, anyways, that is all for this episode, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe button to help this channel grow. If you guys like these videos, make sure to hit that like button. And if you guys have any other suggestions, make sure to leave a comment down below. Next episode, we're going to move on to the final race of the season. Gonna try to win the championship in the final race in Abu Dhabi for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Who knows who's gonna take the win and win the championship? Will it be me? Will it be Verstappen? Will it be Hamilton? Or could be anybody else winning the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix? But for now, the championship is a battle between us three, Verstappen and Hamilton. Who knows who's gonna win this? But until then, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.